Hello everyone, it's Holly. I'm sorry about the glare from my door right here and everything. And I have something on my TV, so whatever, it's fine. We're gonna deal with it. So are you gonna be here the whole time? Sir, can we not steal my pens? Just think about it. It is July, which means another quarter of the year has ended, which means I'm going to do another quarterly wrap up. So I have my book journal. I think it was still naked the last time I did a video. It has stickers on it now. So in lieu of doing monthly wrap ups, I do a quarterly wrap up. I do monthly wrap ups on my blog where I do like short little thoughts on every book that I read that month. But it just became too much work to do it every month. So like to do a video, and quite frankly I don't find them that interesting. Like, I definitely don't like editing them, and when it comes to people's wrap-ups, I don't watch them that often. So I will sometimes, and it depends. Like if like the person does a lot of reading vlogs, then I usually won't watch their wrap-ups. So it is quarter 2, so we're here. Let's talk about some stats, because I don't want to talk about life. Which I do sometimes in these. But anyways, so what are you doing? So in the second quarter of 2021, which is April, May, and June, I read 97 books, which is exciting. That's more than I read in the first quarter. I read 21,685 pages, again, more than the first quarter. And I purchased 50 books, which is twice as many as I purchased in the first quarter. Although I do have a book haul. It should be coming out in a couple of weeks, or maybe next week. I don't know. I can't remember. Also, depending on how fast I can like actually get it done. But the majority of the books you'll see in that are books that I had already read or I have since read. So that is always good. Also, this curl like completely like doesn't want to exist. Anyways, so when it comes to format, these are all things that I like to track just because I think it's interesting and to see if there's any trends or if I like gravitate towards something. So I read 23 books in like their physical format, like a paperback or a hardcover. 29 were ebooks. I think the majority of those were ARCs, and 45 were audio, which that's pretty close to the distribution that I had in the first quarter. Definitely audio heavy. I was a little bit more, like in quarter 1 it was mostly audio. So here it's a little more evenly split, ears versus eyes. When it comes to age group, this time I read 85 adult books and 12 YA, and nothing else, which is pretty standard for me, but that is more YA than I did read in the first quarter. Although probably percentage-wise, it's probably pretty close. When it comes to publication year, I had 13 that were ARCs, so those are 2021 releases, but I categorized them separately. 4 2021 releases, meaning like I purchased them in 2021, and 80 backlist books, so anything from before 2021. And that's pretty good. I think a lot of those ARCs were World of True North ARCs, so that makes sense. There's like been a few big drops of those, and because I'm on Serena Bowen's ARC team, I get offered those ARCs, and I try to read as many as I can, but there are a lot of them, so I have to pick certain things. So next is star ratings. So I had again, no DNFs. I've had no DNFs this year at all so far, which is very exciting. And I haven't really felt the desire, like sometimes if it's like an ARC or something, I'll force myself to finish it when normally I would DNF it, and I haven't even felt that, which is always good. No 1 stars. I don't give out 1 stars very easily. 3 2-star reads, 38 3 stars, 40 4 stars, and 16 5 stars, and I think a lot of those 5 stars might have been rereads. Speaking of rereads, 15 of my books this quarter were rereads and 82 were new to me, which is good. I tend to gravitate a lot towards rereads, and there are so many books on my shelf that I need to read that I need to not do that all the time. I mean, like, obviously there's nothing wrong with it, but of like, I don't want to not read the books on my shelf. Murphy's trying to eat my book journal. Don't do that. You have food. I just saw you over there. I gave you more when I got home. So it's not even a broken pieces. If you have a cat, I assume you also deal with the fact that your cat refuses to eat the broken pieces, or is it just me? I don't think it's just me. When it comes to genre, so I read 70 romance novels, 16 fantasy novels, 7 nonfiction, and 4 other. Do we know what those other are? No. That is pretty good. I kind of wish there was more. Oh, well, I do wish there was more nonfiction, because I've been doing 1 developmental read a month, so that should be 3, and then I've been trying to do 2 nonfiction audiobooks every month, so that would get me to 9, which is what I had last quarter, so I was a little bit behind. It's fine. And of course it's romance heavy, because that's me. And I think a lot of my fantasies this quarter were YA fantasy. That's just off the top of my head. Don't know if that's true or not. When it comes to authors, oh, I definitely messed this up. It was 85 female and 12 male. So what's next? Oh, source. So I had purchased 25 of these books. 15 were from Audible. 17 were from Scribd, which actually, that's really good. I was wondering if maybe I should cancel my Scribd subscription, but I definitely made use of it in these months. 17 were from my library. 0 were from NetGalley. I've been really bad with my NetGalley arcs, with all of the World of True North arcs. 5 were from Kindle Unlimited. I'm subscribing to KU again, and I've actually used it a few times, so I think I'm going to keep it for at least a few more months. And then 18 were other, which is typically from the other or from the publisher, or author or publisher. So that's World of True North books, Serena Bowen arcs, and I subscribed to Katie Robert on Patreon in this quarter, and I continue to be a supporter of hers, and she does for different tiers, she'll give like audiobooks and stuff like that, and I support her at the tier where you can get audiobooks, so that is classified in here as well. That's all the stats. Did I talk really fast? Probably. I'm sorry. Also, I have a fan going because it's hot even with my AC. I'm so sorry, I'm not turning it off. So now let's talk about my 3 favorite books of the quarter. So I wouldn't say I had any like in this quarter, because it's July. I've already read several books. I've already read like 12 books in July, and I've already read like one that I think is going to be one of my favorites this year. So I pick a favorite book for each month, and I am gonna also, I think, talk about some like honorable mentions. Is Thicker Than Water, which I can't believe was in this quarter. I feel like I read that forever ago. This is by Tyler Schultz, and he is one of the Theranos whistleblowers. This was an Audible original that I had gotten last year, or yeah, I think last year, when you used to be able to get Audible originals like 2 a month as part of your subscription, and I finally listened to it and I loved this. I highly recommend this audiobook. It's told by Tyler himself. It's kind of like a podcast style. That's how a lot of the Audible originals are that are nonfiction. I honestly don't know a lot about Theranos. I feel like I talked about this in a video, but I can't remember when. So really all I knew about Theranos going into this was from, I think her name is Sydney Black. Not Cindy, I think it's Sydney. I'll link her channel down below. She does like makeup videos, but she does a series of videos called Makeup in History, and where she'll talk about like a person or an event or whatever, and kind of give you information. And she did one on Elizabeth Theranos, or Elizabeth, whose last name Holmes, from Theranos. So that was really like all the information that I had going in, but this was fascinating, and like he had family connections, and it was very raw, it was very emotional. I wish him and his like fiance the best of luck, and his family the best of luck. They deserve all good things. In May, my favorite book was Bad Liar by Lauren Rowe. I think so. This is the first book in the Reed Rivers trilogy, and I have since read the whole trilogy. And could this trilogy have been 1 book or maybe 2 books? Probably. but I don't care. I gave the first one, Bad Liar, 5 stars, the second one 4 stars, and the third one 5 stars. And I listened to them all on audio. I bought the audiobooks. This was just like the right book at the right time for me. And it was emotional. Did a lot even happen in this book? I don't think so. But I still really enjoyed it. And you get to know Reed in the earlier books, like in the Morgan Brothers books and the Josh and Kat books. Now I need to go back and read The Club, which is really like the first books. I'm reading these all out of order, although you don't have to read them in a particular order. But the series are interconnected, so you're going to see characters overlap. Reed is a music producer. He's super rich. He's arrogant, cocky. Georgina is a recent college graduate. She's an aspiring journalist, and they're attracted to each other, and they get into all kinds of shenanigans. And there's definitely some questionable power dynamics at play, but it didn't bother me here. I really like Georgina. She didn't really like take any crap from Reed, and I don't know, you could feel their chemistry like right off the bat. Like they're definitely like looking to bang very fast, but then things get more emotional. And then for June, I would say my favorite book was Snowballed by Melanie Tang, which is one of the Moo Yu books in the world of True North. And I think I mentioned this in the mid-year book freakout tag. This was just such a pleasant surprise of a read. So it's kind of new adult hockey romance in college, and I don't know, like the hero was just such a nice guy, and I loved the relationship. It kind of grew into a friendship and then grew into more, and it was a very quiet book. That's all like I can describe it as, and I feel like that sounds like a negative thing, but it was perfect. Again, it was just like the perfect book in that moment, and it was that book, like it definitely made me emotional. I connected to these characters, I connected to their romance, but at the same time sometimes I get like stressed out while reading because things are so like high stakes and high energy, and this wasn't that, and it's kind of nice to have a break. And then I did want to give an honorable like mention, I guess, to Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne, which was a new release this year. I really enjoyed that. It was so close to being a 5-star read for me. It probably would become 5 stars on a reread. And it's contemporary romance. Again, the characters are amazing. I haven't read 99% Mine. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but this made me want to read it because I loved The Hating Game. I reread it this year and still loved it. I read this and I loved it. So I think I'm going to pull the trigger and get 99% Mine because this was amazing. Another honorable mention is a reread, and that was For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfrond. I reread that for a Smash or Trash video on Persuasion, which should be coming out at the end of the month. I just got behind on doing the TV or the movie watching for those. So, and oh my god, I was kind of scared to reread this because I remember it being just a book that wrecked me and was perfection, and oh my gosh, it still was on reread. It was still amazing. I highly recommend it. Not enough people talk about it, for sure. So yeah, those are my bookish stats for the second quarter of 2021. I read so much. I'm so happy about it. I've read a lot of authors I had never read before. I have read some really good books. I'm broadening my reading horizons, which is always nice. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the rest of the year goes, and I will see you next time. Bye!